Let's talk about unconditional offers, or as Rika calls them, condition-free offers. So there's three main things you got to pay attention to, whether you rep the buyer or the seller. First is a term regarding access to the property. So right now what we're seeing a lot in the market is lenders coming back sometimes at like the 9th hour, 10th hour, basically saying we need to get an appraiser into the property, or we need to go in to verify a basement tenant lease, or whatever other detail, or even the buyer themselves says, hey, we need access real quick to do these measurements or get something verified for what we need for insurance or whatever. Add in a term that allows for reasonable notice provided by the buyer to the seller to gain access to the property X number of times before the closing date. So it's very common in investment real estate to do like 2 times before or 3 times before. You intentionally leave it vague because you want the term to simply be gaining access for whatever purpose. But the most common is appraisal or insurance related stuff. They can't get access and they can't get in there to get those. They're not closing the deal, and then everyone's going to sue everyone. So we like to avoid that up front by adding in that term. Second is deposits. So there's this misconception in the market that if you don't deliver your deposit, that's it, the deal's dead. But that's wrong. As soon as that contract is signed by all parties without conditions, you've bought a house and you've sold a house. Contractually, that place is sold, we report it sold, and deposits is just a part of the contract. The consideration, which is one of the 5 contract core elements, is the purchase price, not the deposit. So we've had that come up quite a bit lately. The best way to protect yourself, our recommendation when representing the seller, is to not do final signing and communication of that until the deposit's in our trust account. So have them wire it over, have them deliver a bank draft and send over a copy of the bank draft, then they can sign it and send it back. It's important to know when everyone's signed and it's been sent to the other party is when it's legally pending. That timestamp is very important in a fast-paced market like we're in. Seller void notice. So not to be forgotten, if you haven't received the deposit, even if it's an unconditional deal, the seller can use the seller void notice and basically just deliver notice to the buyer that they're killing the deal. So that is possible, but that removes them from any liability, the buyer from any liability on the deal. They can't hold them liable for any damages they might have incurred. And so that's where we like to protect our sellers and make sure we have that in there. So last but not least, condition precedent waiver. So our recommendation, it's an office form we have at RE/MAX River City that our agents use, and it basically says if you're choosing to make an offer that you would normally have certain conditions. So financing, property inspection, condominium document review, or any other sort of standard condition that you would have given the nature of that property. And they're saying, no, we understand that, but we want to win this multiple offer, or our financing's good, we don't need it. Then you, as the agent, get them to sign the condition precedent waiver, because that protects you and your license and livelihood, that you've acknowledged that to them, that they are signing off. That's the only foolproof methods we have to protect you in the event that the client then says, oh, I had cash to buy it, but actually my investments are locked up, so we're going to need to close later, and the seller isn't willing to. Well, now they're coming to you saying, well, you didn't warn me about this, you didn't say that I couldn't make these changes, even though typically those conversations were had. If it's not documented, there's nothing we have to prove it. So third one, condition precedent waiver. Don't forget to use that both sides of deals. And last but not least, a little bonus tip. If you're representing a seller and they want to buy a new place, or maybe they're renting after they sell, but they don't have that new home solidified, use a seller condition of seller to find suitable replacement housing by X date. So that's the best way you can protect your seller, that they know that first deal has firmed up. Hopefully these days in a seller's market, you can often negotiate that, especially in a multiple scenario, but it just protects your seller to make sure they can find a new place before they fully remove conditions and have basically sold fully their property that they're selling. So keep up the good work, and a few tips to help safeguard you and your clients with unconditional offers.